I've seen a lot of posts about the Big Meech concert getting canceled. What I'm not seeing is anybody blaming Rick Ross for this shit. Nobody is saying, yo, Rick Ross, it's your fault.
Already know, car show going down June 7th. Get online right now, get your tickets right now. But for the hustlers, I want y'all to understand you gotta stop making business personal.
Yeah.
Nothing canceled. And now the big question, the one everyone's asking online is, did Rick Ross have something to do with it?
Did he sabotage him?
Yeah, that's the mystery we're diving into today, trying to figure out what really went down.
It's wild, you know? Just looking at all the speculation online, everyone's got a theory, everyone's connecting the dots.
Right.
But for our listeners, for you guys, we want to cut through the noise.
Yeah.
Go deeper than just the surface chatter.
Exactly.
And really look at the relationships, the events that might give us some answers.
Absolutely. And we've been looking at all the buzz, the different opinions out there,
Yeah.
and it keeps coming back to these three.
Yeah.
Big Meech, Rick Ross.
Right?
And, of course, we can't forget 50 Cent.
Can't leave them out.
So we're going to break down how this whole thing unfolded.
Okay.
Try to figure out the motives, were there any betrayals?
Right.
You know, the whole deal.
Yeah, unpack it all.
And hopefully you listening will come away with a better grasp of this whole situation.
Absolutely, without getting bogged down in all the rumors and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think it's a great example of how tricky it is for anyone trying to come back after being away for so long,
Oh, yeah.
especially in the public eye, you know? It's
Right.
not just business, it's personal history, how people see you.
It's everything.
It all gets tangled up.
Yeah. So let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
At first, it really looked like Rick Ross was all in on Big Meech's comeback.
Yeah.
Making a lot of noise about it.
Yeah.
Literally throwing money around.
Oh, yeah.
Promoting that car show. What was it? June 7th?
Right, right.
Seemed like genuine support at the time, wouldn't you say?
It did.
But here's the thing. There was this other idea floating around, especially in certain circles.
Yeah.
This belief that you got to keep business and personal stuff separate.
Separate worlds.
Yeah, especially in these high-stakes situations.
Absolutely. Can't mix those.
Almost like a warning, right?
Almost, yeah, like foreshadowing almost.
Was it all just business for Ross? And when it got real,
When push came to shove.
yeah, did that personal commitment disappear?
Right. Interesting question.
Because that initial support, it kind of vanished when it mattered most.
It did.
Big comeback concert at Marin Bank Arena.
Huge venue.
This was supposed to be Meech's moment, right?
It's time to shine.
And then, boom,
Gone off.
just like that.
Yeah.
Unforeseen circumstances, they said,
Oh, the classic unforeseen circumstances.
which obviously leaves a lot open to interpretation.
It does.
So naturally,
Speculation runs wild.
exactly.
That's when the blame game starts.
Right, fingers start pointing.
Yep. And guess whose name's at the top of the list?
Rick Ross, right.
Rick Ross.
People were suspicious. A lot of them convinced he was behind the cancellation.
It's amazing how quickly that narrative took hold.
Right.
Like wildfire.
It's telling, isn't it?
It is. It is.
How quickly that took off.
And I think that picture of Big Meech and Rick Ross together right after Meech got out, it really didn't help.
Right.
For a lot of people, that image felt like a betrayal.
Especially considering his history with 50 Cent.
Exactly.
You know, they go way back.
Years and years.
And this sudden shift towards Ross.
It felt like a realignment, maybe not a smart one.
And don't forget, Rick Ross has that song where he puts himself on the same level as Big Meech and Larry Hoover.
Yeah, bold statement.
Then you've got Little Meech playing his dad in the BMF series.
Right, which 50 Cent executive produces.
Exactly. So there's this established link with 50,
Strong connection.
and then this move towards Ross.
Yeah, almost like a slap in the face, some might say.
And remember those reports about 50 Cent giving the BMF family like $5 million?
Oh, yeah, legal dollars, they called it.
Probably for the show, legal
That-
stuff, production, all that.
Right, support for the whole thing.
So for a lot of people, Big Meech going with Ross, it looked like he was turning his back on someone who had really helped them out.
Absolutely, someone who had their back.
Now, let's shift gears a bit.
Okay.
There's also all this talk about Big Meech's finances.
Money troubles.
Yeah, did he blow through his cash?
Could be, could be.
Maybe that played a part in all this.
Yeah, maybe he was desperate for a quick win.
And if he was in a tight spot financially,
Yeah.
maybe that explains why he jumped at these new opportunities.
Yeah.
Even if they were risky.
Right, even if the red flags were there.
And we can't forget, Little Meech supposedly got a lot of money before his dad was released.
Right, so the question is, why weren't they more careful?
Yeah, more strategic with their money, their alliances.
Yeah.
And get this, There are rumors that Big Meech only got like $100,000 from Rick Ross.
For the photo, the appearances, all that.
Yeah, way less than $1 million, which is what people were assuming.
Wow.
So if that's true, that really shows you how desperate he might have been.
It does, yeah. It kind of paints a different picture, doesn't it?
Right. It makes you think about the image we have of Big Meech
The legend.
versus the reality of being locked up for so long.
The world moves on, things change.
Exactly. And maybe he just wasn't ready for how different things were.
The entertainment industry, the streets, everything.
Totally different game.
It's not the same world he left.
And it brings us back to Rick Ross. His behavior throughout all of this.
Okay.
We saw him throwing those stacks of cash at Big Meech, remember?
Oh yeah, all over social media.
Very public, very in-your-face kind of support.
Yeah, almost like a performance, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that saying comes to mind, the one you always hear. No permanent friends or enemies, only permanent interests.
Oh yeah, classic.
Makes you wonder, was Ross just trying to use Big Meech's name?
To boost his own brand.
Yeah, rather than actually helping him out.
Right, was it genuine or just a business move?
Because then there was that benefit concert, February 13th.
Yeah, I remember all the hype.
So much promotion, a huge lineup, Lil Baby, Boss Man D-Lo, 21 Savage, Sexy Red.
Stacked lineup.
Rick Ross himself was supposed to perform.
Big names, all there to support Big Meech.
It was going to be massive, his big return.
Absolutely, a real launching pad.
And Ross was talking big, too.
Oh yeah, tough talk.
Like he had Meech's back no matter what.
Riding or dying, that kind of thing.
But then the concert gets canceled.
Out of nowhere.
And all that tough talk, gone.
Poof!
Ross's reaction. A 5-second video.
Barely even acknowledged it.
Dismissive, almost like he didn't even care.
Brutal!
And then he just went right back to promoting his own stuff.
Like nothing happened.
People noticed. It was a stark contrast.
It was, and it just fueled the idea that he was never really in it for Big Meech.
Yeah, maybe he just wanted to be part of the moment.
Use the hype for his own gain.
And a lot of people felt like Ross was the one who messed things up in the first place.
How so?
By getting involved, he might have ruined whatever relationship Big Meech had with 50 Cent.
Oh, I see.
Maybe if Ross hadn't come in, things would have been different.
Big Meech might still have had that connection with BMF.
Right, even if it was a bit shaky.
Interesting point.
Now let's talk about 50 Cent.
Okay.
What was his reaction to all this?
The Shade King himself.
Well, when the concert got canceled,
Yeah?
very 50 Cent response.
Predictable almost.
He posts a screenshot of the announcement online. Make sure everyone knows he had nothing to do with it.
Of course.
And then adds, "Have a nice day."
Classic 50.
So sarcastic.
He couldn't resist, could he?
And remember that video he shared?
The one suggesting that other artists like Lil Baby backed out,
Yeah, it was basically pointing out how disorganized the whole thing was.
reveling in the chaos a bit, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, he definitely seemed to enjoy it.
And those comments about Lil Baby owing Big Meech money?
Oh, yeah.
Savage.
Especially that part about Lil Baby's age, when Big Meech got in trouble.
Ice cold.
50 Cent was basically saying, look at how ridiculous this whole situation is.
Yeah, taking shots at Big Meech's credibility.
And then there was that Instagram post, the one he deleted later.
What was that one about?
Text messages. Supposedly from Lil Meech.
Ooh, juicy.
Lil Meech seemed really upset that 50 had unfollowed him. And that he was managing this other artist, the one Lil Meech had introduced him to.
Felt like a betrayal.
Yeah, but the most important part of those texts,
What was that?
Lil Meech admitted he was taking money from Rick Ross to pay his bills.
Until the next season of BMF, right?
Yeah, so there you have it, the reason for the alliance.
Straight from the source, if those texts are real.
They needed the money, simple as that.
And what did 50 Cent say?
Oh, you know,
Yeah.
50 short and to the point.
Let me guess. Something like, what next season?
Yeah, exactly. He was making it clear the show was over, at least as far as they were concerned.
No more BMF, not with them involved anyway.
And then to add insult to injury,
What did he do?
that GoFundMe post mocking Big Meech's Airbnb expenses.
Oh, come on, 50.
It was brutal.
No sympathy whatsoever.
Nope. And he's been pretty clear, no season 4.
BMF is done.
So there's Lil Meech, caught in the middle,
Tough spot.
trying to defend his dad's decision to go with Rick Ross.
Yeah, what was his explanation?
Survival,
I
basically.
had to pay the bills,
They needed the money. It was as simple as that.
and that's what makes it kind of sad, you know?
It is.
It's not just about these big names and the drama.
Right.
It's real people with real problems.
Yeah, they're struggling.
trying to make ends meet.
And then you've got Whack 100 throwing in his 2 cents.
Always gotta have his say.
He thinks 50 Cent was the one who canceled the concert.
Really?
Yeah, behind the scenes maneuvering, maybe even blackballing.
Interesting theory.
And he said Big Meech can't go back to 50.
Bridges burn.
Exactly. And later he added that Meech burned bridges he couldn't afford to burn.
Yeah, kind of sums up the whole situation, doesn't it?
Right. Big Meech made some bad choices.
And now he's paying the price.
And just when you think it can't get any crazier,
What happened?
Rick Ross posts on Instagram about wanting to make a BMF movie.
For real?
Yeah, a real BMF movie, only for theaters.
Wow.
He even mentioned directors Tony Fuqua, Quentin Tarantino.
Big names.
But is he serious?
Or is he just trying to stay relevant?
Yeah, it does seem a little opportunistic.
Especially after the concert fiasco and his lack of support.
Right, like he's trying to capitalize on the drama.
So what does all this mean for Big Meech?
It doesn't look good.
Not good at all.
He's struggling financially, the industry seems to be turning on him.
Yeah, that steady income from the BMF show.
Gone.
And they were all involved, the whole family.
Right, it was their story.
And there's this idea out there that Big Meech wasn't always loyal himself.
You reap what you sow, as they say.
Right, maybe people aren't rushing to help him because of how he operated in the past.
And there's this comparison people are making.
Between Big Meech and 50 Cent?
Yeah, Meech was loyal to the game, but 50's loyal to his people.
Interesting distinction.
Shows you their different approaches, right?
It does, their priorities.
And it seems like Big Meech is blaming Rick Ross for everything.
Instead of taking responsibility for his own actions?
Maybe a little bit of both, right?
It's complicated.
It is. So here we are, back to the original question.
The big mystery.
Was the concert cancellation just bad luck for Big Meech?
Or did Rick Ross play him?
We might never know for sure.
But we've uncovered a lot.
So much drama.
It is fascinating though, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's like a real-life soap opera.
So much at stake. Big personalities, money, betrayal.
All the ingredients for a good story.
And I think it teaches us a lot about these industries, how they work.
Absolutely.
The music industry, Hollywood, business in general.
It's a cutthroat world.
It is. And I think the big takeaway for our listeners is to be careful who you trust.
Yeah, alliances can be fragile.
Especially in these high-stakes environments.
And your past actions, they can come back to haunt you.
They always do.
So, what do you think?
What's next for Big Meech?
What should his next move be?
And what does this whole saga tell us about power, influence, loyalty?
It's a question worth pondering.
Because these kinds of situations, they happen all the time.
In different forms, maybe?
But the underlying dynamics are the same.
Ambition, betrayal, the pursuit of money and power.
It's all there.
And exploring these deep dives, it helps us understand not just these specific events,
Right.
but also the bigger picture.
Human nature, the forces that drive us.
And maybe it even helps us make better choices in our own lives.
That's the hope, anyway.
Knowledge is power, right?
That's what they say.
So keep listening, keep learning, and hopefully you'll come away with some insights of your own.
Exactly. And who knows? Maybe we'll have some answers for you next time.
Until then, stay tuned.
And stay informed.